Hello, everybody. Another week, another XGR. And this week, as always, joined by Anastasia Lazerbeam
Hey.
and Chriz, a.k.a. The Mole.
Thank you, darling.
And I am the stay-at-home dad gamer, Richter Hammer. As per usual, we will run through news, two little bits of news that we thought were interesting in the week, the catch-up section where we talk about up to 2 games that we played, and then the topic. And if you've watched any of our other videos, you probably know that we are going to run through some of our best and worst of all time. And today we're doing...
Just $9.99.
We're just nine. Yeah, whenever I break, go $9.99. No, don't do that. But yeah. So for this this week, we are going through the first half of our best of lists, and then next week we will do the worst of those same categories, and then rinse and repeat for the other half for the next 2 weeks after that. So, all right, let's jump right into it. So, anyone with their news want to go in first, or no?
I'll go first, just because my first news is really small. It's not even worth discussing much, but Payday 2 is set to have a fresh batch of DLC. And it's accompanied by a reveal page that pokes fun at Battlefield. It's done in a playful way, but the page revealing a Gauge Assault Pack is purposely set up by developer Overkill to look like something you'd expect to see in a Battlefield. From, I believe they're also from Sweden, developer DICE. While Overkill describes it as the studio tipping our hats, surely the fact the next Battlefield Hardline seems to, as they've put it here, encroach on Payday's player base thanks to its similar setting has something to do with it. But the DLC adds 4 new guns to the game, along with 4 melee weapons, 4 masks, 28 mods, new materials, new patterns, and there's also 10 new achievements for you junkies out there. The DLC hits Steam September 4th for just $4.99. They will presumably roll out on other platforms at some stage. It's also got a little note here I just wanted to mention of Payday 2 helped Overkill's parent company, Starbreeze, recoup 15 years of losses in 6 months.
Nice.
The most recent DLC for the game was also released on June 17th. So, yay, when this comes out on September 4th, which I believe is tomorrow, check it out if you've got Steam. If you haven't, wait for it when it comes on PS3 and 360 and stuff. So, yay. Over to one of you.
I'll go for my small news.
Okay.
Do you have news?
Okay, no, I was like, sure, like you was like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, okay.
No, we're just waiting for you.
Okay. The new 3DS that's coming out, it's totally going to be region locked like all the others. Sad face. I felt it was weird that they had to announce this, but it just caught my interest. I thought, it's like, guess what about the new 3DS? Guess what? It's not going to be region locked, or is being region locked, you know? And I was like, ah.
To be fair though, if it wasn't region locked, the people, which I understand, the people complaining about the new features it has, would have an extra thing to complain about. To be like, well, fuck you. Now that's the only one that can import. Fuck off. Which means I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I understand people were negative towards. Some people were negative towards the new 3DS. Some people weren't. Which, like I said, both sides are valid. It's just you don't want to give either side more ammunition.
Yeah. All right,
one does not simply unlock a region. sorry.
We need to make that a shirt. Anyway, so for my small news, yeah, I'll go with this for the small news. They're kind of about equal, but I'll just do this one. Idea Factory International, makers of, well, they announced that they are bringing out Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth #2 to the Vita. So it's basically the slight remake of the one that was on PS3, which was the sequel to the one before it, hence the 2, which deals with the handhelds. So the girls based off like the Sega ones based off the Game Gear. There's 2 for the Nintendo because it has 2 screens, and the PSP obviously for Sony. And then sadly nothing for the Xbox moniker in the game. But they said it's going to come physically and digitally to both North American and European markets in early 2015.
Is it a new game?
Yes, it's a remake, a slight remake of an older game, but it's it's on the Vita instead of the PS3 because the original one was on PS3.
Since there's 2 to represent the DS, because of how the DS has changed now, they need one with really big boobs and one with flat chested to show 3DS and 2DS.
That would be hilarious. That they should. But I think it's more unless they changed it, it was supposed to be for the DS, not specifically the 3DS, so the other one. But they should have one that's thinner, so that's the DS Lite. But anyway, but I don't know. I can't remember if Rebirth 1 was physical in Europe because it says that they're excited to bring the next one to Europe in physical format. So I'm assuming it wasn't, but. Kind of cool. I think they announced it a day after, or no, it was like a day or 2 after Rebirth 1 came out. So it's kind of funny. Like, oh yeah, like if you're excited about that one, the next one's coming out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I actually didn't know they were making that.
That was the game you were playing last week, wasn't it? Or
yes.
One of them, I mean. Yeah, that's the game. Like I said, I kind of want to play the first one just again because it sounds awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend the first one on PS3 though. I believe I said last week I was like, yeah, just if you get the PlayStation TV. Get it for that.
But did the stories carry over? I mean, would I understand what was going on in 2 if I hadn't?
They're actually the weird thing with those games is that they're fairly self-contained. The characters are similar between them, but there's no real like overarching plot that goes through all of them.
Ah, cool.
I mean, sometimes there's references to stuff like it's like like in the first game, the one girl has amnesia, and then as she meets the other CPUs of the other companies, she makes friends with them. But then in like the second game, she already knows them. So it's not as though it was a continuation. It kind of is like less like that the first one happened. I don't know how to explain. It's almost like Final Fantasy where they're set apart, but they can reference each other. They're just you don't really need to play one to understand the next one.
Ah, good. Yeah, that was something I was worried about with it being an RPG. You know, like some of them are really. You need to have played the other ones.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. It's not like Mass Effect or anything where like choices carry over. They're fairly self-contained.
Ah, cool.
So on to the big news.
Capcom took stage at Sony's pre-TGS PlayStation press conference in Japan and confirmed a rumor that's been circulating for some time. Resident Evil Revelations 2 is real and it's launching in 2015. They've also, since then, they've announced it's coming out on PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC. Weird that there's no DS, because then it started on DS. However, I loved the first game, and the second game doesn't have Chris and Jill. It's all new characters, but that's fine. Resident Evil does that sometimes.
Yeah.
However, it's the game. The last one was designed on the 3DS, and it's fucking awesome on the PS3. I can't imagine what the hell the one made on PS3 is going to be like. That should be awesome. And if they've kept it survival horror-ish like the first one, it'll be awesome. And if it's got multiplayer as well, I need to stream that on PS4 and totally play with someone like Pew Pew or something.
Nice.
Be awesome.
I say Pew Pew as I know she has the first.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you would plan to pick something like that up, but I liked Revelations.
Probably eventually. Well, I think that since the first one was made for 3DS, I don't know how true this is, but supposedly that's why the first one was more episodic. You know how they swapped around characters a lot because they were trying to make it more bite-sized. So I imagine they might do away with that part and make it more like 1 and 2.
That makes sense. I'm actually hoping they keep the episodic nature.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Because it's sort of like, what the hell was that other one on PS2 called? Or Resident Evil Outbreak, or whatever it's called, where they did the episodic. And it added to the feel of it. Like, I loved playing through that, and like you could sit down, not play it for a little while, go back, and the second you start the next chapter, previously on Resident Evil, Son Goku battled Frieza as the planet was about to explode. It's possible I swapped over during that to Kicks and watch Dragon Ball Z Kai. No. No, I just love the previously on Resident Evil. I'm like, that's awesome. Especially if you're someone that might put that down and then say, I don't know, pull out the wrestling game when it comes out or something like that and start playing the crap out of that and then go back to it. It helps refresh you and you're like, okay, yeah, now I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, that was my big news. Over to Pew.
Alright, my big news is that Minecraft is coming out on Xbox One on September 5th. Hopefully, the PlayStation hasn't announced a date. Hopefully, it will come out on PS4 pretty soon as well.
They have said it's coming out on PS4
like, cool
pretty
stuff
soon.
about the Minecraft on PS4.
Yeah, it was in the tweet like our Sony friends
soon.
expect something soon, very soon.
Yeah.
Smiley face.
They've said they are doing it on PS4 and it'll come with the stuff. The only problem was when they made it with the PS4 version, apparently with how they did it, because the PS4 is way different to the PS3 and stuff, with how they did it, it caused more glitches than what they were expecting, so they've had to go back and edit and fix the PS4 version. But that is coming, and I do look forward to that game.
Yeah, the fact that there's like a $5 upgrade fee is pretty freaking cool.
I'm so upgrading.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just playing that before we come on here. I made a church with a stained glass Jesus window and a Noah's Ark. Now, there's no actual stained glass, so I had to make it out of wool and put glass in front of it so it looks it. And my Jesus is sort of waving with cartoony South Parkish eyes, but I tried. I felt my city I'm building needs a church. So I built that, and I got like Noah's Ark, which isn't to scale, as my turtle is almost the size of my elephant, but still. It's the thought that counts.
2 of every creature, except the creeper. You stay out.
Yeah. I hope the PS4 one does actually come with stained glass, though, because that'd help me a lot. I just go back, smash it on, just replace it with glass. Done.
The PC has stained glass, so we made this whole we made this church, and it has like the Eye of Sauron in the church, and that's what the stained glass is. But then my friend made the bottom of the eye have a female symbol, so it's just like a big circle and a female symbol, because 9 out of the 10 people on the server are females, so the females will be watching you. Woo.
Yeah. I will admit, if they do stained glass on the PlayStation, something in my castle I will build on the wall will be a picture of the Sword of Omens, but the hilt will be a red stained glass with a glow brick behind it, so it glows through the glass.
Nice.
I would totally do that. But over
All right. So for my big news at the recent, also at I forget what it was called. Oh, it was the Sony or the Japanese one, right? Anyway,
TGS.
Was it Tokyo Game Show?
That's when Resident Evil's now. It's the pre-Tokyo Game Show PlayStation conference.
I just thought that was in July. I don't know why. Or not July. I thought it was some other month. But anyway, that's fine. So yeah, I guess Tokyo Game Show. They announced that they are. I'm going to assume it's because the hype for Hyrule Warriors, and probably because Dynasty Warriors and all that stuff is still hugely popular in Japan. But they decided to merge Dragon Quest with Dynasty Warriors into Dragon Quest Heroes. So now you can... I don't know if they have actual characters from the other games, because a lot of times you make your own characters, so I don't know if they just made up new ones or if these are people from the games where you didn't make your own party. But looks a lot like Hyrule Warriors, where it's... and Dynasty Warriors, where it's hack and slash and giant magic attacks and explosions and lightning and stuff everywhere. And it looks pretty awesome, actually. I would totally play it. But then again, I'd play just about anything if you put it in Dynasty Warriors. So I don't know if that's a fair gauge.
Hey, it's fair enough. And you're a fan of both, so you'll probably like that. Although I will say, based on its name, they'd be fucking idiots, in my opinion, if they don't include some sort of hero from the previous title, because it's called Dragon Quest Heroes.
Yeah.
You expect the Dragon Quest Heroes to be in it. It's in the title.
Wah, wah, wah.
It'd be like buying Cooking Mama and there's no cooking. It'd be like, what? What kind of madness is this?
No,
Wow.
it's just there's a cooking father now. Don't you know? It's okay. It's still cooking mama. He's just a guy now.
That's
But
what we do.
And
that's what
instead,
we do.
every time you mess up, he hits you instead. Of
I
saying,
want-
That's right.
Yeah, and like I said, Mama's face, it needs to be Richter's face you can see in this conversation. And like I said, when you do well, he needs to go, that's what Rick do. When you do
And
bad,
when you do
go to your
bad,
room.
yeah, go to your room.
He hits you and says, "Go to your room and think about what you've done and come up with a good excuse for your mother."
Or if you
Not
like,
that
say you're making a pizza and you burn it, you just hear, this is why we can't have nice things.
There you go.
I approve. If anyone wants to make this game, let me know. But all right, so that was the news for the week, and now on to catch-up section. Should we keep the same order, or does anyone want to mix it up?
Yeah, we can do.
Okay.
I'll only talk briefly about my two games as I talked about them during Around the Pound. But I know some people might watch one and not the other. But Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures is the first one. They've taken Pac-Man, and like the TV show, they've given him legs and arms and stuff, and he now goes on like adventures similar to like the Mario-style platformer. Like I said, the game itself is pretty adequate. I only describe it as that. Sometimes there is some frustration with every now and again the camera doesn't work, and there's a couple of other little things that kind of hurt it. Like, for example, you collect cherries throughout each level and lemons and pineapples and stuff like that. And when you collect them, they unlock the arcade machines, as do the coins. The arcade machines, though, aren't actually arcade games. They're just shitty little mini games where you're playing as this Pac-Man in like a helicopter or something like that. It's like, why didn't you include original Pac-Man as one of these? That just writes itself.
Yeah.
But there is multiplayer as well, which I don't think I mentioned on XGR on Around the Pound, but there's multiplayer as well. In the multiplayer, you all play as the 4 ghosts, because they're Pac-Man's friends, and you have to try and catch Pac-Man in the maze.
Wait, his friends are the ghosts?
Yep, the 4 original ghosts are now teenagers in Pac-Man's school and are now his friends. He's only against new ghosts that look pretty much like the old ghosts, and yeah.
It must be a hard relationship. Does he only allowed to touch? Is that why he wears the gloves? Because he can't actually touch them? Because if he does, he'll like die.
He hugs them.
Okay, because like I don't know, they would explain the gloves. So
Yeah.
Do you think if they like went to his house and he had like a fruit bowl out, they'd all kind of stare nervously at each other?
Yeah.
that would be funny.
He puts an M&M in his mouth and they just go blue. But yeah, there is different power-ups too. Like there's Fire Pack, that gives him Goku hair, and he starts to fire. There's Ice Pack, which is the most genius name out of all of them, just because Ice Pack is an actual thing, and he gets the free stuff. There's Boulder Pack, or whatever it's called, where he turns into a ball and rolls. Bouncy Pack, where he jumps up and down. And it's pretty good. The platforming on that's pretty solid. The other game I've played is...
Can I ask real quick? Is there one that like clones him, so there's 2 of them running around, and that's the 2-pack?
Nice.
Oh my god.
Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Or everywhere he goes, he gets booed. That's X-Pack heat. But no, basically, I also played Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare. I didn't talk much about that during Around the Pound. I spoke bits about it, but I kept it for this one more because I know like the only person that's really interested in that is Rick.
Yeah.
Even though you were in that, but it's a case that game's pretty damn cool. I love the there's loads of customization options. There's loads of depth to it, loads of replayability, and it's awesome. Now, I will say the one thing I don't get is, like I've said before, right now, I'm holding the box in my hand. Online multiplayer only, PlayStation Plus required. It allows you to play the best mode, in my opinion, of player versus environment. It allows you to play that in split screen offline. So why are you just saying it's a multiplayer? Well, I understand because most of the game besides that if you don't have a second player with you, you can't play.
Yeah.
I think. But it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty good. Garden Warfare, or whatever it's called, where you get to on the, I don't know what the main mode's actually called, but or Garden Combat or something, where you're playing as plants and you're trying to stop all the zombies. Is pretty fun. There's loads of different multiplayer modes, which, like I said, they're not actually that bad, Rick. The PvP ones aren't that bad. Like, I love that mode of gardens versus graveyards, where it's defense versus to like takeovers and stuff. And like I said, I've discovered each character, each plant, or each group plays differently. Now, some can slightly branch out, no pun intended, before anyone says that about plant. But yeah, but they can branch out into the other. But mainly, plants are defensive. When you're a plant, you want to stand back from the zombies and try shooting them before they get to you. If you're a zombie, you're better at attacking, which means you want to get up close and just do your damage. If you can learn that, and if you can learn what your class does and how to best use your class, it's a fucking blast. And unlike other games where, let's say you went to play as, I don't know, you went to play as one class, it would be pretty much similar. It's not. Each class is different. And even on the other sides, like the healer on the zombie side is different to the healer on the plant side. So that's pretty fun. And
That awesome.
yeah, like I said, the game's pretty awesome. Everyone should totally check it out. It's available now on PS4, PS3, 360, and I believe Xbox One.
Yes.
It's also on that other thing, a PC, but who plays games on that anymore?
Who pays
PC
for games on that?
PC peasants.
Yeah.
Haha, console master race.
Yeah, I always laugh when I see them like, oh yeah, the stupid peasants and their expensive machines. I'm like, peasants wouldn't be able to afford expensive machines.
Yeah, I also
Either
love,
PC's cheaper or we're peasants. Like, you can't have both.
I also love the idea of the whole thing of, with your expensive machines. Really, tell me how much you spent on a gaming PC. But those were the two I played this week. Over to Pew.
Okay. Well, I played a lot of games this week, so it was difficult to choose which two.
Again, stop saying that.
But sometimes I play more than two, and it's a difficult choice.
So do all of us. We don't feel the need to keep pointing it out every week.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's a harder decision for me. Anyway, so I played Animal Crossing this week, and I picked it up since like forever. So my sister was like, "Play Animal Crossing with me. I can't go to your town if you're never on." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I started playing it again, and surprisingly, like they fixed it so they don't even give a shit if you leave or not. Like they don't care. Because, like, apparently you're the mayor of your town, and, like, I just fucking left. So the secretary just did everything, and she was acting mayor, I guess. So everybody's totally cool. They don't give a shit at all. People aren't mad. Like, people just leave your town or do bad things to it, or people hate
so it's realistic. No one gives a shit if you leave.
I guess. So, yeah, no one gives a fuck. The only real change, and it's not even significant, is that if you stay in bed long enough, your hair is all messy. Because apparently you've been in a coma for the last, like, whatever. It implies, like, that you've been sleeping for that entire time.
What happens if Rick's been sleeping for too long? Does he wake up pixelated?
Oh, I see what you did there. Because he can't have grizzled hair, or, like, messed up crazy hair. Okay,
Get a crazy, like, Viking beard, that's what I get.
Crazy Viking beard by sleeping too long.
Yeah.
Or you get a messy hair wig that when you stand up you just take it off and put in the bin.
Or I get up and it stays on the pillow, like it's part of it.
Yeah, it's like moss on the pillow.
Alright, the second game that I've been playing is more World of Warcraft, which surprisingly gets more fun as you put more time into it. Because initially I didn't like it, and it's still not as visually wonderful as I would like, but it's gotten better with different character models and stuff, so that's cool. I really like their crafting system, because you can have like 2 skills, so that's 2 things you're allowed to like do, and I chose mining and engineering, so I like mine all these supplies.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, are you saying I can pay a subscription fee to do 2 things? 2? Whoa, where do I sign up now?
I mean, maybe you unlock more if you level up. I don't know, because there's like a bajillion fucking levels. So.
I'm kidding. There's more stuff to do than just crafting. I was just joking.
Okay. Yeah, because you can be like level 6,000 or something in the skill, and I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, it takes me. I mean, I'm like level like 75, whatever. I've only been playing for like a week, and I haven't been just strictly straight out mining for a week. I've been like playing the game, and oh, I see something here. But like,
Yeah,
you can get to like ridiculous.
the way I used to
mining.
do it is once a week. I just spend 1 day a week just doing the fucking crafting stuff on that day. That day would just be my work day.
Yeah,
I'd be the day I have to keep making cloths because I chose the one where you got to make clothes because it'd give you armor later.
The tailor, yeah.
So yeah, I just chose that one because I want to make like cool shit. You know, like in engineering makes cool shit, like robots and shit.
Yeah, they can make like motorcycles and rocket boots and crap now.
Yeah, but like I probably should have chose like a gnome for that because they're like the engineer people. I chose a night elf. And that is like not, they're like herbalism and whatever and things.
Mohawk.
Yeah, that's exactly what I chose.
And I was going to say to you, Rick, that word tailor is really offensive to my people. I prefer clothsmith.
Oh, okay.
Clothsmith. That's what I call it. It's a manly.
Clothsmith.
Do I have a male friend named Taylor?
I'm sorry. We were talking about the job.
I know, I was just being funny, apparently, or not at all.
I listen to a singer called Taylor.
And he does it very quickly. Swiftly, you might add.
Yes. I am a Swiftie.
Oh, is that what they're called? Or...
They're called Swifties.
Gotcha.
That's our word.
That is our word. All right, so was that yours for was that all?
Yes.
All for World of Warcraft? Okay.
Yeah. It's fun.
Which packs do you have?
I just got the Panda pack, and because that was the cheapest, because it's like called the Mist of Pandaria or whatever. I don't know. It was $10, and the other one was like $56. So I'm like, fuck that, go for the $10 one.
I'm on GameStop right now. I cannot find Mr. Panda or whatever.
Pandaria or some shit. Mist of Panda People.
Legend of Awesomeness. Sweet.
Mist of Panda People. That's what I call it.
Nice.
They look so stupid too. I'm sorry, but they look really retarded, and they totally made them Kung Fu Panda because all the pandas, even if you choose another class, they make them dress like friggin' Kung Fu people.
To be fair, wasn't Kung Fu Panda based on martial arts the same thing as they are? So technically, it'd be silly if he wasn't.
I mean, I can understand you can have that option, but like that's basically what they are. They're all just Kung Fu Panda people. It's a whole race of just nothing but Kung Fu Pandas.
Sweet.
Even if you're a mage, you're still Kung Fu Panda.
But skadoosh over the ring.
Skadoosh. All right, so this week finished up Akiba's Trip, so I could finish my review on it. So I beat the game, and still really fun. Although there's these two missions side quests that really suck. Excuse me, where you have to fight 48 people, not all at once. It's like 6 at a time or something, but it's oh my god, that takes forever.
Is that review up right now?
Yeah, I put it up earlier today.
Nice, I will have to check that out.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. Now I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say about the ending. Oh well, but Well, the final boss that I found, what I found funny was if you remember when I talked about way back in the beginning, I was like, oh, I thought I was gonna fight girls, and I fought dudes, and the next week it's like, yeah, there's all kinds of dudes and girls, and but the named the special characters you fight, if you when you strip them, you get like a picture of them losing their clothes. I know this sounds dirtier than it is, but just bear with me. But the enemy bosses you fight get them too, and they're all dudes. So you unlock pictures of a dude in his boxers, look at how goofy his shirt's getting torn off. But what's cool is then when I beat it, I got the true ending with one of the girls. And so on the title screen, whenever you get some of the endings, it'll put, because the default title screen just has your character, his back facing the screen and just has the title. But like as you get different endings and stuff, it'll actually put more characters near him, which is kind of neat.
Nice.
And any of the girls you get the ending with, you unlock their model. So when you do New Game Plus, you can change how you look, and you can actually play as like basically the model that looks like that girl. And when I beat the final boss, like you get their clothes too. And so I have like this. Marcus would love this, but I have like this gray trench coat, and I took his sword because he has this like two-handed sword that like looks all cool. It's like purple and it's long, and it has like this like evil, malicious purple and black aura coming off of it. And I'm like, this looks fucking cool. So I tried it out. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this sword.
Nice.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. I would actually recommend it. It's not as offensive as some people might think.
And did you say that was on Vita?
Yeah, it's on PS3 and Vita, and there is a PS4 version. I don't know if they said that was. I don't know if they officially announced it for America and Europe yet. I'm trying to remember because I know they had it in Japan, and I think they are going to bring it over the PS4 one, but I can't recall for certain if they are.
Yes, I'll have to check it out. At least the PS3 one. Or the Vita one if I get the Vita bundle.
Yeah, the only reason to get the Vita one is there's like an AR mode, so I don't know if that would work with the Vita TV or the PlayStation TV. But it actually played perfectly fine on the Vita. Like there was no slowdown or anything crazy like that. So, cool game. And then the other one I played this week is Danganronpa 2. Started that. I don't know, maybe about halfway through it. I love the first game, so I was totally excited to play this. And story-wise, it's not quite as good, but still fairly good so far. It's definitely a lot harder a game. The problem is that they added, I think, 2 new mini-games during the trial, and they changed one of them, and I really, really hate those. Like the ones that they added, I don't like them, and the one they changed, I really, really dislike it. Just because there's one where like the one that they changed is it has like letters, and you have to. In the old one, you just had to like tap the letter in the correct order, and to spell out a word, and it's like, oh, that's the clue I was looking for. It's like in his mind, where it's like, oh, I gotta figure out what they're talking about. This time, there's like letters in different colored and shaped blocks like on the screen. And if they touch the same letter, like 2 O's touch, it makes a bigger one, and then you can take that and put it in the word, but you have to do it in order. But if they touch another letter that's not the same letter, it'll damage you. But the problem is all that crap's random, so you could be waiting like a minute before you get the first letter for the word, so you're just sitting here like trying to have them not collide so you don't die. And sometimes they like come off the edge of the screen, and there's 2 like that are opposite letters, and they're right next to each other, and you're like, and you go over, and it's like, and they hit each other, and it's like, oh cool, that was damaged. Like, thanks, game.
That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, no, I don't like how they changed that one. And that's great. My phone. But
His wife says hi.
yeah, I know.
Tell Marcus we're recording.
Yeah, that was someone else. But anyway, sorry, I'm sitting right next to the phone, so I couldn't really. It's house phone, so I don't know how to mute it. Anyway,
It's good if you didn't disappear for long periods of a review. That'd be silly.
Just duck out. I might have accidentally hung up on them, so hopefully they're not mad. But anyway, but then one of the ones that they added that I don't like, it's kind of neat in theory, because basically normally when you're doing it, what you do is you get what are called truth bullets, which are like your evidence for Phoenix Wright players, and yeah, so like it'll come up with like there's special key terms where like they're like, oh well, like I wasn't even in the back room. Dang it.
Richter, I thought you were going to take me out to dinner tonight. What happened?
But no, truth bullet sounds pretty cool when he gets back. But
yeah, but anyway, there's like certain key terms during it that you can shoot, and they added a new one or a new part where instead of being bullets, it's like a sword or something, like a truth. I don't even know, truth blade or something they call it. But what happens is they like you're talking with them, and you have to slash the like basically they're making arguments, and then you have to like physically slash them. Either use the stick or use your finger to cut them, and then on the certain keyword you have to hit triangle, or I think you swipe with 2 fingers or something weird, and you literally cut down their argument. Which, okay, that's neat in theory. The problem is there's all this text going, and you have to like slash it down, so you're not paying attention to what they're saying. So you have to like at least for me, ahead of time I have to be like, well, what are they talking about? Okay, this is probably the truth blade I need. And you're just sitting there slashing, not paying attention to what they're saying. And then if the one with the keyword comes up and you slash that, it like almost, it doesn't make you lose, but it basically pushes you back to where you have to like start it over again. So you have to pay attention while not being able to pay attention. And I'm like, God, it's just, I think it's done so poorly.
Well, I got Jim's Christmas present.
Yeah. Nice. But yeah, it's so far it's not as good as the first game. And without spoiling anything, I am gonna say that I was also sad because, you know, like there's characters and you can befriend them, and I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna befriend. You know, I like these 3 girls. I'm gonna go befriend them, and one of them's left so far, so I was really unhappy.
They did not want to befriend you.
Well, no, they did. They were in the middle of befriending me, and now they're no longer breathing. So I'm not gonna say who.
Died, so they
But yeah. Well,
befriend
in this game, like freaking almost everyone dies. But yeah, I was like, but last time, like I was like, okay, I like this character, and she lived through the whole thing, and I was like, awesome. And this, I guess I got spoiled. This time is going. I'm like, da da da, and it's like, yeah, this person's gone now, and I'm like, well, fine, fuck you too, game. But yeah, that was I played that this week. So far, I mean, my opinion could change. We'll see how it goes. But so far, I'm not liking the changes. I still think it's, you know, a good game. It's not as good as the first one though.
Fair enough.
But
so
so
does
now,
sound hard with the slashing thing.
yeah, it's. I mean, I found it like easier with the stick to do it because you could do it faster. But sometimes the words take like multiple cuts, so you're sitting there like jamming on the stick, and like then it'll go away, and it's like, oh, sorry, you didn't cut that in time. I'm like, well, I have to cut it like 6 times, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like the stuff that returned or, you know, just came directly over, they didn't really futz with it much. That stuff works fine. It's still awesome, but just the stuff they added, I'm like, eh. So on to the topic, which is our best of the
I was just gonna say, I'm just reminded of like how when I found the first Phoenix Wright game, I'm like, oh, Maya Fey or Mia Fey, she's really cool. You know, I hope I get to see her again. Boom, instantly dies. Like the next time, it's like, oh, I guess I won't know more about her.
Yeah, I know that was
That was like,
I was like, oh, she's awesome, and she's gonna help me. And then the next case, it's like,
exactly.
and then at the end, he's like, well, I wasn't gonna have that chance. I'm like, crap.
Yeah, now I'm
I know what's gonna happen now.
Nice.
But all right, so on to the first half of the best of lists.
Best games ever.
There we go. The list, I don't think we really organized it a whole lot. We like tried to, so we might have like best of this type of game, and then we might have you know, best something else, and then afterwards best something that probably, you know, like we might have like best action game, and then something else, and then later it's like best platformer, and it's like, why are those so separated? It's like, because that's how it is.
Yes, it is.
So we will start at the top, I assume, at best game ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we keep the same order then, I guess?
We can do if you want.
Sure. Make it easier, I think.
Best game ever, I went with Knights of the Old Republic on the Xbox. Now, I know it's on PC and stuff like that too. I just put the system I personally played it on, because I don't know, I'm not going to say the other systems didn't have glitches in case they did or something like that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They could make small changes, but Knights of the Old Republic on the first Xbox, that was pretty damn good. I loved everything about that game. It was just wonderful, and it's one of the first games that introduced me to the BioWare style of the wheel and stuff like that. Great storytelling. Everything was just so perfect in that game, and it rewarded you for playing through multiple times, because you play through as good, evil, and the third time the dialogue changes to have a load of more like in references and quotes from the movies and stuff, which that's kind of clever. I like that. So yeah, Knights of the Old Republic on Xbox.
That is a very, very good game. Okay, Stacy, your best game
Um,
ever.
my best game ever is Dragon Age Origins. So I really fucking love that game, like a whole lot. Like I replayed it like way too many times, so much that I have to be like, okay, you're not allowed to play it now. Why? Because you played it like 6 times in a row. So like, and you still haven't gotten everything. And
Wait for
so
Inquisition.
yeah, and I love how like lore heavy it is because every single time I play it, I always like learn like something new that I never like learned in the last one. So it's like I don't know. It's a game that keeps on giving. He has so many fucking different origins. So many.
There is. It
And
is
there's like,
that is wonderful. I'm looking forward to Inquisition.
oh, I know it's immersion. It's gonna look so cool. So yeah, I just really love that one. I don't think I've ever said that.
All right, for my best game ever, narrowly edging out Final Fantasy IV was the original Disgaea on PS2. Love that game. It was I'd played strategy RPGs before and I liked them a lot, but that one just for some reason added so many at that time new things. Like you could pick up people and throw them, and it had the area effects, and every piece of equipment you get or every item has its own random dungeon inside of it, which can make it stronger. Like that shit's just
Nice.
cool. And there was like tons of character classes, and you can start over. You can basically reincarnate, where you start over at level 1, and for the non-story characters you can switch your class, so you can have like a fighter, and then like, oh, I want to be this other fighter, and you could do that, or I want to be a mage, and you could teach skills to each other. And it wasn't perfect. They made some improvements in the other games, but like that one was just so amazing, and the story for it was really good, just because it was serious, but still not fully serious. Like, I mean, it had actual. It wasn't like just zany off the wall crazy crap, but it was still silly. I mean, hell, there's one of the enemies, or one of the chapters. This guy wants you to, like, you have to kill like his berserk zombie or something that he made, and he equips it with special things which they actually bother to put on him as equipment, so it's like special equipment. It's not better than other equipment, but it just has the name, and the best of which is the horse wiener. And they actually like talk about it in the story. The guy's like, and I also put on a horse wiener, and the guy's like, horse wiener, and if you look on the guy's equipment, sure as heck it says horse wiener, and you can steal it, and that's fucking funny. But it also has like some really touching plot, like when I won't ruin it, but in one of the chapters you get to discover a little bit more about the characters, and you're like, oh wow, that's actually really cool. So it has some really good depth to it, and you wouldn't expect the depth and the silliness for a story where you're playing as the son of the Overlord trying to conquer hell, but that game's just awesome.
Nice, that sounds pretty awesome.
So next category is storytelling.
Okay, and I will warn people, a couple of games will get more than one award. It's inevitable,
I
but
was about to say the same thing.
the storytelling, Knights of the Old Republic on the Xbox. I mean, I'm sorry, that has probably, at least in my opinion, the biggest and best twist in any video game.
Yeah.
Where, obviously there's going to be some spoilers, but you learn about this Sith called Revan, and you're like, oh, he's evil, and you just find out he's like the most evil bastard that ever existed. Then suddenly you get your memories back, and you're Revan. You're just not wearing his mask that people identified him with.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy fuck, you're Revan. That to me was the perfect twist. It felt as big for a game as No, I Am Your Father did for movies. That was fucking awesome. Like that.
Yeah.
That's a great twist. It's not like a Shyamalan twist or some other twists where they're half-assed and just forced in there. It made sense, and it made the whole story around it. It was great. You got to see like the rise, and you got to see like the fall basically of Revan, and the redemption if you went the good route, or you got to see him reconquer his empire again if you were evil, and it was awesome. I loved the storytelling. They did a great job.
Nice.
Alright. So mine is also the same one as my favorite best game, Dragon Age Origins, because I really just pretty much just lost myself like in all the lore, because I read like all the freaking codex things. or at least the
Nice.
ones that I found, because I'm always finding new ones. But like I just like love it, and it just makes everything feel so much more meaningful when you have all the backstory behind it. And it's just I don't know, like you feel like sympathy for the characters and stuff.
Cool.
Nice.
For for mine, then I went with the first Phoenix Wright on DS. I think it's just called Ace Attorney.
That one's really good too.
Yeah, just oh man, I really like the plot of that, and because the stuff in like case 1 and 2 like ties into the later like case. Well, I guess it was 4 then, because the 5th one was a special one. But
Yeah.
it like tied together, and just like the plot kind of interweaved throughout it. So like you'd get bits and pieces, but then when it came to a head, you realize that they sprinkled in all this stuff, and you're like, oh, that's neat. And you get, I mean, I'm gonna also count the bonus case, the one with Damon Gant, but you get 2 like the best villains ever. Although I guess 3, because Edgeworth is a villain in that one, and that you get to see like where that whole started of how he was a villain and started to become his frenemy or whatever you want to call it. But and
Game of interest, yes.
yeah, and Von Kaiser or whatever. Like, oh man, dude, he's like one of the best
Oh
villains
wait,
ever.
I
Just
thought you meant like Karma or Von Karma.
yeah, Von Karma. Thank you. He
Yeah.
is like one of the best villains. Like
He's
I'm not gonna
fucking
ruin what he
crazy.
does. I know, but just he does like one really twisted thing and one like hella buff thing. I don't want to ruin it, but like he does a thing and you're like, oh my god, like that dude is tough. Like
He's fucking crazy.
yeah, like oh he's. I don't know if like villain wise, I don't think he's cool. He's as like batshit crazy as Kefka, but he's a really good villain, and I just think the storytelling was good. And I know this doesn't really count, but it also part of that plot ties into like the 3rd game, so it's nice that they still bookended it. But I think just as a self-contained one, the first one was easily my favorite story-wise.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. I have been meaning to play that series.
I also thought Godot was a cool villain though.
Yeah, I liked him. The only problem is I hated when he would throw coffee, because I don't know, for some reason. Okay, well, like Von Karma. I mean, he does use a stun gun on you at one point, but that's not like in the courtroom. I don't remember him attacking you. Like Franziska would hit you with the whip, and I'm like, fuck, you can't just hit people in a courtroom. And Godot would like throw hot coffee on your face, but I like that Von Karma didn't. He didn't have to assault you. He was just like, no, whatever, I'm gonna take you down.
He
And I'm
makes
like,
you
I
pee
like
your
that.
pants in fear. That's what he does.
Yeah, he doesn't have to hit you. Like,
You're just gonna be soaked in your own urine for the whole court, and that is your punishment.
So
exactly.
He took the opposite of your parent strategy.
I know he did, and it worked. Well, I combined them. I get fear and
like,
hate.
you misbehaved. Hot coffee.
Well, you got to combine them. You got to make them fear, and then you also throw coffee on them.
But I also like Godot
so
because
he
he seemed
dresses
like a
Batman.
giant he seemed like a giant like a giant douche all the time. Like I have a super hot girlfriend, yeah, she's super awesome. I drink this coffee. I'm super cool. It's this special blend, blah blah blah. And like he just seemed like the biggest like hipster douchebag ever.
So, I will say I'm a little disappointed by that though. I wanted to get into that series, and I found out I think it's the first trilogy was on the Wii, and you could download it, and now they've lost their Wii store because the internet's gone down for Nintendo, and I'm like, and it's on 3DS, and I'm not a big handheld gamer, so I don't have a 3DS right now. I mean, if I pick up the other 3DS, with a new one coming out, I may get it, but I'll probably end up getting it. But I was like, when the second I got into the series, the second I wanted to get into the series, it's gone.
It was already gone. Oh, that's...
The closest I'll get is playing the Harvey Birdman game.
Nice.
There you go.
Oh man, I gotta like find that at GameStop. They price dropped it to like $3 for a used one. I'm like, I need to go find that.
Apparently.
So next up we have Action Game.
I gave mine to Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I liked all the top-down GTAs on PS1 and stuff. That was pretty cool. When it came to PS2, which is what I played Vice City on, the third game was pretty good, but it just felt off. It didn't feel like a real city, or didn't quite have what I wanted. Because personally, I prefer like bikes to cars, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Vice City, boom, suddenly better soundtrack, added bikes, more stuff you can do, and it was the first time with one of those games. Like, I haven't felt that the same magic with one of the GTAs or Saints Row and stuff style games as I have with Vice City the first time. Where it's like, you picked up the control and you saw the type of stuff you could do, and you literally felt like you would never be able to do everything in that game. It was like, holy fuck, this is like the Holy Grail. Hallelujah. To quote the Holy Hand Grenade on Worms. But it just felt awesome. So, Grand Theft Auto Vice City PS2.
Alright, my best one action game was BioShock Infinite. So, I thought that qualified as action, because it's like half action, half like a storytelling adventure or whatever, so... Anyway, I love the system with the shield and stuff, because that was the first time I experienced that a lot of shooters have not only like a health bar, but also a shield, so my shield keeps regenerating, and that's really cool. So I can run away and hide for like a bit and have my shield regenerate and then keep shooting and blasting you and stuff. So that was really fun. And there's like a lot of change of weapons and things.
Gotta eat them cigarettes.
And yeah, like eat all that shit out of the garbage and like oh my god, it was like really funny. It's like half eating like cheese or whatever. Oh, I'm really good. Smoke some cigarettes, drink some like half somebody's wine or something, and we'll just go to town on this and like.
I keep hearing people chomp and chew and stuff join us. Has Marcus joined us? I'm sorry, I had to.
Yeah, but it was a really fun action game, and yeah, it's super cool.
For my best action game, I picked Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Just because I'd played other Castlevanias, but that one I super got into, maybe because it was, slightly more like Metroid and it had the RPG elements and stuff. And I mean, really, that's the game that created the genre of Metroidvania. So it had to have been good if it created an entire like subgenre or whatever of video games. And and I don't know, it's just cool because like by the time you got to the end, like if you didn't know anything about it, and you played it and eventually you found your way to the end through trial and error, and you're like, yeah, I beat the game, and then you find out there's an entire upside down castle, and you're like, what? And it was just like, it was cool to go through like this, even though it was the same area, and some people are like, oh, it's lazy, but it's a thing of like where you're moving through something that's upside down, you don't even think about how everything was designed, and once you're like walking on the ceiling and you're trying to jump to reach the floor, you're like, I wouldn't have thought that it'd be so much different playing the same thing just flipped upside down, and I just thought it was really cool. Plus, as a small preview for one of the later categories, also had one of the coolest weapons I've ever seen in a game. But other than that, it was pretty good. Story was decent too. I mean, it's kind of what made Alucard popular, Dracula's son.
That's where my icon is from. That's the one that I chose. Alucard Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, that's an awesome game. So that was mine. So on to best adventure game.
Nice. And best adventure game, I chose a point-and-click adventure game on the Amiga. I believe it was on other stuff too, but I went with The Secret of Monkey Island. That was fucking awesome. It introduced us to Guybrush Threepwood, which awesome. The type of stuff you had to do to solve puzzles too, like if you tried to approach them logically, you would fail. Until you realised, like, okay, no, I can't do like stuff like this. What I have to do is, I don't know, grab a fish, put it in a bucket, wear it on my head, and then it's like, what? You know what I mean? It's just crazy ass shit. And I love that. The way of solving puzzles in that is basically think like Stacy. You think so insane that you should be committed. But it worked, and that's a great game. The Secret of Monkey Island is great, and it gave us loads of Monkey Island sequels, including a recent one, of the one I just accidentally mentioned, of Tales of Monkey Island, which, in my opinion, is probably the best Telltale game ever. Maybe The Wolf Among Us, but still. Monkey Island, it's fucking awesome. Nice. And for people wanting to check out The Secret of Monkey Island, it is available right now, which I currently have, on PS3 with a special HD remastering. And with the PS3 one, you can actually swap between the original like NES-style graphics, or you can put it on modern graphics, and it's all like a cartoon. That's pretty awesome. It's cheap as hell. It's worth checking out. Secret of Monkey Island.
Cool. My top adventure game was almost a tie between Skyward Sword and Wind Waker. So, but I went with Wind Waker because Wind Waker is just the best. So that's the one I went with. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. It's freaking awesome. I can play it a million times, and it's really great. If you want to play the easy version, play the HD version. Otherwise, check out the original. Both are pretty great. So yeah, it's so amazing. So many places to go, things to do, people, collectibles, everything.
I will say I did love Wind Waker on GameCube. I did not like the Wii U one, but I loved the GameCube one.
Nice. For mine, in a similar vein to Stacy's, I picked the original Legend of Zelda on the old NES. Because that one just felt the most adventure-y to me, because I didn't really think about it till much later, and, like, hearing what?
Oh, you didn't pick one of the CDI games? Oh.
No, I've actually played, I think, 2 of them, though. Like, my friend bought them. I keep hoping he still has them. I should, like, ask him, be like, dude, do you still have that? He'd be like, probably in the closet somewhere. But, like, the first one just, even though, game-wise, I like the Super Nintendo one, Link to the Past, better, the original one that was really an adventure game. Like, there's no real plot when you're starting. I don't even remember if they had, like, a scroll. I mean, you have to walk forward for a guy to talk to you and give you the sword. Like, you start without a sword. And just back before, there were really maps in the internet, as a kid, you had to figure out this stuff. So you would just wander around the map, and eventually you're like, oh, I found a dungeon, and you just hoped it was the one you were supposed to go to. And, it just, like, there was no tutorials or anything, and I have no idea how so many people figured out how to play that game. It was just all trial and error. Like, excuse me, Dodonpa, I think it was? Like, the Triceratops, where you have to, like, feed them bombs. Like, the first time you get to him, you're just stabbing him, and you're like, why isn't this working? And you eventually just start going through all your weapons, and eventually he eats a bomb, and you're like, oh! And then now you know how to kill him. It was just, I don't know, that game was just really cool, and there was so many little secrets that, I mean, by the end of it, pretty much everyone, you just pull out your sword and you're like poking the walls. Well, at least in the, the later ones, you try to cut every bush because you're like, maybe there's a secret in there. You're like blowing up every block of mountain or the like rock terrain, whatever you want to call it, to see if there's a secret door. Like that's an awesome game.
Yes, it's also worth noting before we go to the next category. That game, and I believe all the Legend of Zelda games, are currently on sale on the 3DS and Nintendo Wii U eShop to celebrate Hyrule Warriors. So if you've missed out on those games, check them out now. Rick approved.
Yes. So next we have RPG. Or either RPG or basically any RPG that's not a JRPG. That'll be the next category.
I had to say, for this one, it's obvious. I had to give it to Knights of the Old Republic on the Xbox. Because how can I say it's my favorite game of all time and then say it's not even the best game in its category? It's not my favorite game. No, that wouldn't make sense. You've heard me speak about it twice so far. I think that's about it. It doesn't get too many mentions on this list. Ironically, they're all close together. But Knights of the Old Republic, Xbox. If you've got that, or if you've got a PC, because I believe you can get it on Steam, because I believe that's where Geeky Girl got it, check out Knights of the Old Republic on Xbox. Or PC now.
Yeah, if you can run it. So I can't.
Remember Master Race. It's even though Knights of the Old Republic worked on an original Xbox, 10 years ago. Remember, that's for low-class people.
Yeah, you can even download it on the PC.
You own a PC that you bought within the last 4 years, and it won't run a game that came out like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to say PC people are crazy, but I'll imply it strongly.
Alright, so my best RPG is Dragon Age Origins, because, I just love doing all that, and, like, the skills are actually, like, useful and stuff. But they can actually do, like, leveling up your lockpicking or anybody else's, and, they actually have, like, other outside battle uses as well inside.
Yeah. I will say I did like the Mass Effect series, but I'm sorry, for me personally, out the new BioWare series Dragon Age wins. I love Dragon Age. It's got, better characters, and it's more, I don't know how to describe it, but it's more RPG-ish in terms of vibe to me. Because whenever I think RPG, I think like little gnomes, witches, and stuff like Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah.
That's what I always think.
And I think on Dragon Age, the characters are more like involved in your decisions of approving or disapproving. Where in Mass Effect, I think they're pretty much as cool with whatever the fuck you do.
Yeah.
You wiped out those people, Shepard? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like how many people did betrayed you
Wanna
in the
bang,
first
okay?
game, Mike? I said Mike. Mole. Called you Mike.
That's not even my real name.
No, because I have a
Mike's
coworker named
not
Mike.
close to my name.
I have a coworker named Mike. I don't know why, but I just said that. But like, how
Why?
many
Because
people
he
did
happens
you?
to work with you.
But like, how many people didn't you have? Like 2 people betray you when the first time you played it, and you had to kill them.
No, not the first time. It was the first time you heard me play it. It was when I
Okay.
replayed through it because I got all the DLC and stuff. I had one of the people or 2 of the people betray me because I hadn't got loyal to one of them, and one of them was a thief who was like, "Yeah, I was out." I think he was a thief or an assassin. He was like, "Yeah, I was out to assassinate you, but I'm going to join you." And I remember saying at the time, "That dude's going to betray me." And lo and behold, he betrayed me.
Well,
But
he doesn't
still,
betray
like,
you if you get his friendship up. You
I
apparently
didn't get his
didn't like
friendship
you.
up. I didn't get his friendship up. I was too busy banging Morgana, or Morrig, whatever she was called.
Morgan.
What the hell was her name? Yeah, Morgan. I was too busy basically banging her and concentrating on her. The rest of them were just there. They were my filler characters.
They were the people that paid to watch.
Yeah, because that's something else as well with Dragon Age. You got like gifts to hand to people that made them like you more or less, or you hand them something that's under there like, wait, I remember this, and that can set you off on a quest. You don't get that as much in the Mass Effect series, if that makes sense.
And you had
Which-
specific gifts linked towards them, like one of them like leather boots
And
or something.
I will say, with me saying that, I'm sorry if Richter's next choice is Mass Effect. I'm not meaning to Mass Effect. I was just saying, like, everyone talks about the BioWare games, and they're always like, I want Mass Effect. That's like Dragon Age almost gets buried into some degrees underneath it. They're both equally good. That's why, how many XGRs have we gone through playing through them?
Yeah.
But
Pretty much.
Rick totally needs to check out Dragon Age if he hasn't already. I believe he has.
I need to finish it is what I need to do. I'm like 3/4 through the first one.
Start again, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then we can have XGRs where Rick's going through them all.
I was gonna do a thief because I wanted to. I wanted to get I think it was the werewolves to join me, but you have to be like super charismatic or something.
No, you don't have to be charismatic at all. You just have to say like there's like 2 lines of dialogue that says "fuck 'em, I don't want to save you" and just kill them and do a bounce battle.
There's one of the conflicts. I thought it was the one with the werewolves and stuff, where there's one choice that's really easy to get, and then the other choice is really hard. You needed like the skill tree that made you better at dialogue. You needed like the 3rd one of that or something to actually get it to work. I'm trying to remember though.
I can't remember which one that was, but
Yeah.
it might. To be fair, it might be the werewolves and stuff. Because when you went for it, Pew Pew, and when I replayed for it, because I'd already beat it once, I believe we played for on its easiest difficulty, which means like on the higher up difficulty, that may have come into effect.
Maybe. But like it's hella fun when you like frickin' at the end when you like get your people together and instead of throwing elves at them, you throw werewolves at the fucking darkspawn. Like that's freaking awesome. So I'd recommend like trying to do that. Like it's bad that you're committing like a whole race to genocide via wolfness or whatever, but fuck it, the werewolves are awesome.
All right, so for mine, no, I almost went with Mass Effect. I was tempted, but I'm definitely going with one I think is really good, and this is weird. This it's not a very great game, but I think it's awesome, and I definitely want to highlight it, even though I don't know if it's there's a lot of good stuff in it. It's called Two Worlds, and it's really buggy, and it's in a lot of ways generic, but it does a lot of really awesome things in the game, just with how it feels like a third-person Skyrim. So there's just this whole world, and you don't need to cover most of it for just doing the main quest. But there's a lot of places you can wander and a lot of stuff you can do. And it has a lot of freedom and terrible horse controls, but I'll get to that. But well, no, I don't want to dwell on that. But it has a lot of like cool stuff you can do, like where you can, like how you make items. You can, if you do it enough, you get like completely jacked, broken items, and you can. Like the spells, I believe this was it was more so in the sequel, but in the I believe in the first one you could do like just crazy stuff where you could have it where like you'd cast a like a fireball and it would hit them and it would do like an AoE damage, and then it could like summon a skeleton to start fighting them. Like you could just mix up the spells and do all this crazy stuff with it. And also one thing that cements it to me of how awesomely silly this game is, if you want it to be, is one part of the story. You go into this town and you go underground to get this part of whatever the magic MacGuffin is that'll save the world. And when you come out, you find orcs have overrun the town and have basically killed all the civilians, or at least most of them. And you can go and kill the orcs. Now the thing is, the people that were killed, they're supposed to die, so they're just they're dead. You can't really do much to them. But the orcs, just they're there, and you can resurrect enemies. So you can like take all their crap, like their armor and weapons, and then resurrect them. And you might be able to resurrect the people that were killed. I can't remember now, actually, but you could like just resurrect everyone. And what was so funny about it, how like silly it was if the orcs don't have a weapon, they don't attack. So they just start doing the idle animations of townspeople. So like the orc, like you take a sword and you resurrect him. He gets up and he stands there for a while. And then after a couple minutes, he'll start walking around. He'll pull out a broom and start sweeping like he's clean. It's just freaking hilarious. Like I spent like I think 2 hours just killing everyone and then resurrecting them, and then just watching the dumb crap. They just walk like they'd wave at people.
Nice.
I was like, didn't you just kill that person? Oh well.
What system's this one on?
It's on 360 and I believe PC. I want to say there's a PS3 version, but I don't remember if there is for the original. And it was like it's definitely not a great game because it just has so much bad voice acting, but it does so many awesome things that it's like other games don't do. Even another thing that I remember I really liked really quickly is the draw distance is fucking amazing. So like scattered around the world, there's these 5 black towers which you need to go to for the plot. But like sometimes you just get up on a hill and you look and you could see the tower, and it's like really far, but you can still see it and tell it's there, and like you can walk toward it and it'll like get bigger. And it's such a minor thing to have the draw distance really far, but I thought it was really cool because if you got up high you could see really far, and you like see an island out there and you're like, oh crap, I didn't know there was an island out there.
Nice.
You could go explore it.
Nice. Like I said, that does sound fun though.
Yeah, it is. Like, what's funny is the first hour of that game, I completely hated it. And then after I got used to the controls, I was like, oh, this game's awesome. And I played it for, like, I think, like 6 more hours that day. I was like, oh, crap, okay. But, and they had since patched it because it was pretty buggy. Like, there's literally one underground area where you couldn't even go in the cave. Like, it wouldn't work. Like, there was an underground area for it, but it wasn't linked to the entrance. So, like, there was just a cave there, and you couldn't go down.
Nice.
It's like, what?
And I will say this joke was used on Around the Pound, I believe, but maybe different people watched. I'm just going to have to say, RPG noob, Skyrim totally has a third-person view.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah, it's the worst thing ever. People who prefer third-person views don't like that.
Yes. So next up, we have the JRPG.
Nice. For JRPG, I went with, and I know this may be a little cliched or whatever, but I don't care. I went with Pokemon Yellow.
Nice.
I liked Pokemon Red and Blue. I read about the only Pokemon series I did like. And Yellow was obviously in that same series, but it did everything better, like surfing Pikachu. Pikachu just following you around. You know what I mean? They made it feel like the anime, which was such an awesome little touch. And I was like, I liked it. Pikachu was my favourite at the time because, well, I was watching the anime and I loved Pikachu. And it gave me Pikachu to walk around with me, and he just followed me everywhere. He's like, nope, not going in my bowl. You mad, bro? At least that's what I assumed Pika Pika meant.
It is. I'm pretty sure. Meowth translate.
Yeah. But I went with Pokemon Yellow.
Alright.
I believe that was the original Game Boy.
Yes.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if that was one of the ones made for color.
I think it worked with my color thing, because I think I had Game Boy Color. Or because I remember distinctly that the Pikachu was definitely yellow and had red cheeks.
Nice. Yeah, I remember Game Boy games worked on the Game Boy Color, but I seem to remember
Yeah.
some games were Game Boy Color only.
It might have been one of those ones that was enhanced by color. Like, it would
Yeah.
work
This
on a
was,
normal
like,
one, but when you
full,
put it in
like,
color, it
yellow.
actually was, would show up a lot better than just adding color.
No, this
Yeah.
one was full, like, yellow Pikachu, like, red
Yeah.
cheeks, brown
Yeah.
eyes. Like,
Yeah, because I had a poker, I had the Game Boy Color as well, and I remember that. And I will say, if I couldn't remember which one it was, because if it was enhanced, it was one that was enhanced properly. Which, yeah, like Richter said,
Yeah.
adding random color, I hated that. Like you'll play like Power Rangers on it, and they're all the wrong fucking color.
Yeah. Well, I think, most of the older ones did, but I think that there were some once it came out that if you played them on the Game Boy Color, it actually was in color, but you could still play it on the original. I could be totally wrong on that, and I believe most of them were Nintendo ones.
Which would make sense. They
Yeah.
wanted to push both their systems at once.
Yeah.
But I believe it's over to Pew for her JRPG.
Alright, so mine is from the Tales series. Tales of
Yay.
Vesperia. Symphonia is really, really close, but Vesperia still was my first, so I think, and plus it has voice acting, so I think those two things make me a little biased. But story-wise, I'd say they're equivalently awesome, but just those two things made me push it, first, slightly
To be
harder.
fair, your favorite list, you're allowed to be biased.
I know, but I feel like it deserves to also be the best, but it's just those things, just made me, say, okay, you're number 2.
There can be
Sorry.
only one.
I feel bad. You're number 2. I mean, you deserve to be number 1, but you're not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we will. I know that there's going to be a Vesperia mention somewhere else, at least something from there. So,
Oh, no.
So.
I got a horrible feeling of him not mentioning best.
No. Well, you'll see. I'll leave it up vague in the air, but no, it's not. It's not. It's not in the worst
tease.
category. So yeah.
You tease.
But yeah, Vesperia is really good. So for JRPG, I already talked about it earlier, but definitely put Disgaea because, yeah, love that game. It's a strategy RPG, but still JRPG and awesome. So I talked about it earlier. If you're curious about it, rewind a little bit and you can hear my sweet dulcet tones talking about it.
So, now, I will say, thank God everyone did what I said, because otherwise I may have insulted someone earlier when I mentioned I gave Knights of the Old Republic best normal RPG. And like I said, it's my favorite game. It's a favorite game of all time. How can you not have it in its respective category? That would be dumb.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
It's my favorite game of all time, but it's not my favorite RPG. Wait, what?
No, it's my favorite puzzle game.
Yeah.
All right, so now on to the racing game.
Arcade.
Yes, sorry, arcade racing game.
I went with Mario Kart 64 on the N64. I'm sorry, I giggled just because it had it in its title. But yeah, I went with Mario Kart 64 because I liked the original Mario. I really did. But Mario Kart 64 was just enhanced, in my opinion, so much with the fact you now had 4 people in a different way with how the N64 pads worked and stuff. It was just a great local multiplayer. The battle modes were fun. The racing was fun. The characters were fun. Everything just worked. I loved Mario Kart 64. My favorite Mario Kart game.
You're gonna hate me now, but I don't care.
Now?
Yeah.
Well, because I know on record you like to say I'm a troll because I love everything you hate. But so my favorite one is Mario Kart Double Dash.
If it helps, Pew Pew, I promise you I can never think lower on you than I do right now.
There you go. So because I love that game so much. I love the whole team thing, how they had special items, and if you had like a special 2 people together, they have their own thing, and everybody had their own cool carts, and it was just awesome. The whole 2-person team up on it, and you could double the items, and it was just awesome. It's really
Oh,
cool.
I will say, while that may not be my favourite Mario Kart, even the worst Mario Kart is still better than most of the other kart games.
True.
Hi, Madagascar karting. That's not on my list as worst. But it should
For
be.
yeah, for my best racing arcade game, I picked Burnout 3. I know
Nice.
I don't really like the racing portion of it, but I mean it was there, and I guess it's a racing game. But the destruction and crap, oh man, I love that. And even though I like Revenge, which came after it, 3 I think is my favorite just because of how separate the two modes were. So like, I mean, you select them from the same menu, but like, there was racing and then there was like all the destruction or crash. I think it was crash mode. And I had like gold medals in all the crash modes because I did all of them. And I think I had 1 gold and 1 silver in racing. Like I just did 2 of them because I was like, I might as well. But like, I just love the crash modes and trying to figure out how to like when to go to hit this car and try to drag them in the other cars, and that's way too much fun.
Did that
Love
still have?
Burnout 3.
'Cause I didn't
Hmm.
play that one. Did that have my favourite mode from the one with the Ghostbuster car and stuff? Where I loved the elimination race.
It did. It did have the eliminate or like last place dies.
Yeah. The reason I
Yeah.
loved that, the reason I love that race the most, is I knew which order they were going to be eliminated, because I would take them the fuck out in my car, just bash them into the wall or something, and then I'd be like, "See ya, you're mad, bro."
Well, I like that when you crashed, it set you back far enough that a lot of times, if it was like, let's say there's 5 people left, and it's like, oh, the other one's gonna be eliminated, and as it's counting down, you're like the guy's next to you, and you just bam, just take him into the wall, and you're like, you're not coming back to get revenge, dude. You're just it'll spawn you far enough back, and that you'll be the last place, and it's like, ah. So on
Okay.
to
No, no, go ahead.
best racing simulator game.
I went with Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec on the PS2. I like that racing. I liked Gran Turismo 2. But when I played Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, it's weird, I had a feel for it that I haven't had from one of the simulator games since. If it was just like, whoa, I was just like completely blown away. It might just be jadedness with how everything evolves now. Like nowadays, you can get like, I don't know, a PS4 racing game, and you'll play and you'll be like, oh, that's kind of crap or something, like people will say. But I'm sorry, if you took that back in time to my younger self and shit like that, he'd just be like, what? But with Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec, I may have just been because I was younger or whatever, but I don't care. It's favourites, not actual best. But
Yeah.
I liked Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. It was pretty cool, and it had a great selection of cars too. So, yay, A-Spec.
Nice.
Alright, mine may not count because I don't play a lot of racing games, but this is the
Spirit
best
Tracks does not
game.
count.
No, this is the best game that involves a car driving and is also a simulator. So I thought that was close enough. So it is Crazy Taxi.
That does not count.
Well, that's the closest thing I could come up with a driving game that is also a simulator.
It's not a simulator. It's over the
It's a
top
simulator of
craziness.
taxis. It's a simulator of taxis. Are you telling me that's not how it works? That's not how it works when I drive, underwater and when I pick up people and no, I'm talking about the original, on which you didn't do that, but
That's hilarious. I like it.
yeah, but that's the closest thing I could get to a driving game simulator.
You
And
know,
I
before I said I couldn't think lower of you. Way to go.
Challenge
it's just-
accepted.
It was just so funny.
You just defied the odds. You've seen it.
It was just so funny, all the time when I pick up people, and there's this one time when I first played it, I picked up this priest guy, and I swear he was stomping and pissed because I didn't get the place, and he was I swear, the way it sounds he was making, he was swearing at me. So I was rah, 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 and he pisses off and just walks off. That is one angry priest.
Oh God, does Richter have the Simpsons hit and run?
No.
Oh, thank
That
God.
was also a really good game. Ah,
Or Road Rage, whichever one was the taxi.
that one was also good.
No, I couldn't think of one because I don't know if I've actually played a simulator racing game like Gran Turismo. I've never played Gran Turismo, or I don't. I think Forza counts. I never played that, so I can't remember actually playing one. I'm a
See, would it
horrible
be better
person,
if
I
I said I
know.
had
But
nothing?
Fair enough. So
you
I was
can't
the only one.
you can't take my answer, Stacy.
No, I'm saying, would it have been better if I said I had nothing?
I know
Yeah,
you can't. That's
that would have
mine.
been better. That would have been completely better.
I tried, okay?
Oh, okay.
I thought it was clever.
You
It
get A
was
for
driving.
asshole.
Gee, thanks.
I'll allow it. So next up, we have Fighting for Fun.
This may sound a little, I don't know what the word is, elitist, as people like to toss around, but I went with Smash Brothers Melee. Because I love Smash Brothers. I love Smash Brothers Brawl. Melee was the one that actually was a little bit more hardcore than the other ones in terms of what you could do and how you could, like, you know what I mean? Like, skill actually mattered in that one more than it did in the other ones, but it was still for fun compared to the other Smash Brothers. I loved it. So Smash Brothers Melee on, I believe that was GameCube.
Yep. Because that
Yes.
one is also my favorite Fight for Fun one. And
Oh, don't
I
try
think-
sucking my dick now.
Oh, no, I had that
It's
written
too
down
late.
way before. I had
Do or
that
do
written
not.
down.
There is no try.
Yeah.
That was like literally day one when we made the list. I put that down.
Nice.
Yeah, because like I love the adventure mode on that one. Like that was so freaking amazing. Just going through each thing and had like some kind of loosely based story, putting all the characters together, and freaking going through the Mushroom Kingdom as like a Link and killing some Goombas and stuff. It's like, what is this? This is crazy. But it was awesome. Or
Wasn't
like
that Brawl?
no, like you had like the adventure one. Because, I mean, the Brawl kind of had a bullshit version of Adventure 1, but I'm talking about, like, on the GameCube, it also had, like, a better, like...
Fair enough.
Adventure
It sounded
one.
like you were describing the Subspace Embassy a little bit for a second.
Oh, no. Like,
Fair
the first level is literally you going through, like, the Mushroom Kingdom, like an original Mario game.
Yeah.
But then, if you're, like, walking as... I think they had Ganondorf then, or was it... I think they had Ganondorf then, and you could just fucking punch a freaking Goomba right then and there. It's like, overkill! Boom, that's right. Fuck yeah!
Right.
Fuck that Goomba. He looked at me funny, like...
Is Richter gonna combo break?
Oh well, yeah, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, for mine, I picked the original Smash Brothers just because I had the most fun playing that.
I could see that.
I'm trying to. I don't remember exactly how it panned out, but my friend came to visit me one summer, and I think we rented that, and we played it for however much the rental was, and then literally like we returned it, and then on the way home we went and he bought it because we were like, yeah, we need to play this game some more. So even though we had to start over, it didn't matter, and we played that way too much and just so many hours of. You know, we'd put it on like 99 stock and it'd be co-op and we'd fight like Jigglypuff and Pikachu because why not? And we'd, hit them with baseball bats and stuff, and it was way too much fun. Like, even though it looks dated and I like some of the characters that they added for the other ones, like just the first one, I think I actually played that the most.
That makes sense. And to be fair, all the Smash Brother games are good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never picked up a Smash Brother game and been like, you know what, this is shit, and just took it back within a day. That's never happened.
Yeah.
Didn't you hear? It was so wonderful and it inspired the background of child laughter.
That is inner child.
Yes. So up next, Fighting for Glory.
My one was kind of cheating. We did discuss whether or not this would count beforehand because I did ask people. Because there were so many of these, I couldn't decide which one to take. I just took the Street Fighter 2 series because, let's face it, it was all the same game with different tweaks and stuff. I mean, I'm not taking Street Fighter 4 and just saying Street Fighter series. I'm just saying Street Fighter 2 series, the one called Street Fighter 2. I loved that game.
I gotcha.
The amount of times I've played through Street Fighter 2 in various forms on various systems and stuff, it's amazing. Even today, as Stacy would say, it's amazeballs. It's great. Like Hadouken and shit. It's just great. And it's one of those games where it's one of those fighting games where not everyone will like Street Fighter because some people don't like it because it's more challenging than other fighters, I feel. But at the same time, I feel that's its greatest strength, if that makes sense. But I went with the Street Fighter 2 series.
Okay, this is the one where I don't have anything because I only played like one fighter once, and that's on the one I didn't like. So, and that's why, because I played a game that I knew I wasn't gonna like because I don't like this type of game. So the one I actually did play, I didn't like it because duh. So that's it.
Well, I'm gonna spoil your list for 2 weeks then. Because for me, the one I picked, Fighting for Glory, is I'm pretty sure this is the one that Stacy doesn't like. Is Skullgirls.
Oh, that's the only one I played too.
I know, and I know you hate it, but just because that game is so technical, because it's almost like a greatest hits, because the guy that made it, he likes fighting games, so he took a lot of little bits from other fighting games and kind of mixed them together, and it didn't end up messy.
It just visually offended me because I felt like everyone was trying to rape my eyes.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to see your breasts anymore. Bring out the dudes. Like, I don't know. I can understand that you would like it, but I just visually, I didn't want to see them anymore.
Yeah, well, I can understand that, but I mean, just the animation, I know you didn't like the look of it, but the animation is like one of those games where it's like super animated. Like, I don't know if anyone's played Street Fighter 3, but like how the characters have like that really nice idle animation, and it's almost like over animated. But I think that game's nice because just seeing people, like one of the guys who worked on it a lot, like watching him like explain a lot of the nuances to somebody, and I was just like, wow, there's just a ton of like little systems in that game that if you're really good, you could just do crazy stuff, and it's not as crazy as like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or something with like Touch of Death, where in that, it's like, oh, you hit him in a combo, and if you pull it off, the character's dead. They don't have stuff like that there. There's like built-in stuff to actually actively discourage you from doing like infinite combos and other kind of things. And so like you can get a lot of damage off of a hit, but like you're not gonna like kill anyone with it. And the fact that you can have like 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 or 3, like you can have up to 3 people on a team, and it'll make them stronger based off that, which is something kind of like that was in Capcom versus SNK 2. But I just, I know it's not famous at all. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I just think in a lot of ways it's really good for Glory, just because it requires so much skill to be really good at the game.
The controls were good, and I just mostly visually like it.
Yeah.
I will say, with Skullgirls, I didn't like the look, like Stacey said. However, the gameplay more than made up for it. It was fucking wonderful to play.
Yeah.
It did have good gameplay, but it was free for like 2 days, and then I'd have to buy it or whatever. So I was like,
I look at it sort of like the same way you'd look at Minecraft. I mean, who plays? You look at Minecraft and you're like, I don't like the look of Minecraft, but the gameplay makes up for it, and that definitely made up for it. It's a great game.
All right, so next up is MMO, but I'm going to have to head out for now, so I will have to finish my list next week, I believe is what we're doing, right?
Yeah, we'll let you finish your list next week.
Okay. So, sorry that the host has to cut out. I have to go check out a preschool from one of my kids, so it's the open house.
That's cool. Real life is more important than stuff like this. I mean...
Well, yeah. Well, if it was any other day, but it's like only today, and I was like, oh, crap, okay, well.
Yeah, but I mean, no one's going to say, wait, you're looking after your kid's education? Fuck you.
I know, right?
What a dick. Putting his children first. What an asshole.
I know, I'm finally doing something useful for them. I might as well actually do it.
Although I know for a fact when he gets home, he's probably going to check out our review from the point he left just to see if he's mentioned.
Well, I want to see your list, or hear the list too, because we didn't really discuss them beforehand, so I don't know what everyone was. But... Okay, so I will turn hosting duties over to Mole, and I will see everyone, or listen, or have everyone listen to me next week. That sounds weird. I'm sorry. Anyway, okay, later.
Talk to you later, and thank you for hosting. But okay, so it's gone over to me as host, so yay. And like he said, the next category is MMO, and I chose the Old Republic. because it's got the best of the Knights of the Old Republic game, which I love, and the Mass Effect Dragon Age choices, which a lot of MMOs don't do. Like, they're normally like, you're this character, and then you go through every mission in a really linear way. I don't like that. Whereas the Old Republic, to me, it was just like an actual RPG and stuff. It was like you actually got to make choices. Your customization of your character mattered. Your character felt more personal to you because of the choices. So yeah, I went with the Old Republic, which I believe is now free to play for people who want to check it out. So yay! And with that, over to Pew.
I wanted to play that, but I wanted to play the Knights of the Old Republic first, and that's the only reason I haven't played it.
You can check it out. You don't really need to have played the other games.
I thought like it might spoil the other one, or like, you know.
It does spoil some little stuff to do with it and all that all that, but let's face it, if you can't play it, you might as well check out the RPG. It's pretty MMO. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. All right. So the best one I have is Eden Eternal. And mostly I like this because the navigation is like freaking amazing. Everyone says it's super lazy, and it is super lazy. That's why I like it, because I am super mega lazy. It's basically you just right click it and boom, go to your quest area, go to your quest giver, there you go. And like no problems with navigation. Now I'd say like this is too easy, and it is, and I wouldn't mind, just sending me in the general area or whatever. But like I'm playing World of Warcraft, and that has super mega shit navigation. Oh my god. So like these are like these kind of the two extremes where you have super lazy and in one way, and then super lazy the other way, where so it's like I don't know, I look for something in between. But I prefer at least I can get there and be lazy than like not get there and they were lazy. So yeah.
Fair enough, which takes us over to beat 'em up. And my favorite beat 'em up I put on there was Double Dragon Neon on PS3, because I loved Double Dragon, I loved Streets of Rage, and a load of the other beat 'em ups. But Double Dragon Neon was one of those, I bought it on a whim thinking, okay, this isn't going to be as good as the original. But it actually kind of is. And it's all in like 3D or 2.5D as people call it, where it's 3D on a 2D plane. But it's done that style so it feels like the original. But then they've included loads of like 80s references and a load of other stuff, like you have to wind a cassette tape to resurrect your partner and stuff. It's wonderful. And Double Dragon Neon is on PS3 now. The only downside is it doesn't have online multiplayer, which was a shame, because I know I had that, and I know Richter's got that game, but we couldn't play each other because of that, which was a shame. But Double Dragon Neon, that's what I took. Over to Pew.
I hope this counts as a beat 'em up. Ultimate like Alliance 2, because you do beat up a lot of people, and there's a lot of smashing and button like spamming and stuff. So I felt that like was appropriate. But it's really fun too, because like everybody has different moves, and you can kill waves and everything, and it's not just like 20 generic dudes. So, and it has replayability.
I'm gonna say it's an action RPG, not a beat 'em up, but I'll allow it.
Oh, okay. Because I don't play like a lot of these games. I have to be creative.
Or put don't know.
But I felt that was because you beat up a lot of people.
Yeah. But now we go to platformer. And my favorite platform of all time, this is technically cheating, but technically not. Sonic 3 and Knuckles on the Mega Drive, or Genesis if you live in America, which is 2 games, but however, you get Sonic and Knuckles, you plug Sonic 3 into it, and then when you turn it on, it becomes on the screen Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and it's all one game. And the reason they did that anyway is because it was intended to be one game, but due to like time and also not being able to fit some stuff on the cartridge, yada yada yada, they couldn't quite do it as one game, so they split it in half and did that. So as a result, this time there's like 14 emeralds to collect instead of just 7, and one's the Chaos Emerald, and one is what the hell's the other one? I think it's like Hyper Emeralds or something that turn you into Hypersonic instead of Supersonic.
What
But
does
it's pretty.
Hypersonic look like? Is he still yellow or is he a different color?
You can look it up, but yeah, Hypersonic, and it's pretty fun. But like I said, the game itself is pretty fun, and you get to play as Knuckles in number 3 and stuff, and with this route, which is kind of cool. And this is the game that introduced us to Knuckles, who's one of, if not possible, I'm gonna say he's my second favorite Sonic character. I love Amy from Sonic CD onwards, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Mega Drive or Genesis. Over to Pew.
Alright. My favorite platformer, which is also a game that you hate, is Super Mario Sunshine. Fuck yeah! So,
That's fine. That's fine. I'll be talking about that next week.
and then the bad ones. I just love this one because I feel like this is the perfect amount of like difficulty without making you like want to quit. Because this game is like hella hard in like a lot of games, in a lot of levels. But like I feel like personally to me, it's the perfect level of difficulty where I'm just about to rage quit, but I don't for some reason. And like I do it, and then when I beat it, I'm like, yeah, fuck you, I beat you, I win, you suck, you lose. As soon as I beat it, and I feel really awesome having, died a million times and finally got it. So, Super Mario Sunshine.
Fair enough. So next we go over to first-person shooter. And I went with GoldenEye 64 on, obviously, the N64, which I like that for the same reason I mentioned with Mario Kart 64 with the 4 pads and how they did the N64 with the 4 split screens. It led to some great multiplayer for local action and stuff, and it was just the story mode was fun, unlike some other shooters where the story mode isn't. The story mode on this was actually pretty fun, but the main part for me was always the 4-player co-op, or 4-player fighting, I should say. Where it's like, oh shit, my friend's got the golden gun, he's going to want to kill me and stuff. It's amazing, and even today I can still look back and play that game, and I still have fun with it. It's pretty cool, and they did remaster it on PS3 and stuff, but it wasn't quite as good, but still, it's worth checking out if you don't have an N64, so yay. So I went with GoldenEye 64.
Okay, my favorite one was Payday 2. Because that was really fun to play with you guys, and normally I don't like just like straight out only shooters, but this was really fun, and it had like a lot. It's teamwork, it's just great, and I love like you could so many weapons, you get all your masks, collectibles, you get all the things, you can do it cooperatively, and yeah, and I like killing the people in all the different ways. It's pretty awesome, fun.
Yeah, Payday 2 is benefited by the fact it's player versus environment, as people say, and it's more like you're actually helping each other, like, oh, I'll get the saw and I'll do all this while you do your skill and do this and stuff, which is pretty fun. I do like Payday 2.
Yay!
But now it's third-person shooter. I've gone with Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the Xbox. Basically, if you're not familiar with Star Wars Battlefront, I'm not sure if Pew's played them, but Star Wars Battlefront, basically, like the Star Wars games, you always play as Luke and stuff, Stace?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one, you play as generic stormtroopers. And it's done as a massive fucking war. You can go first-person view, but that's sort of like Skyrim of you want to stick in the main mode, which this one's third-person. But it's fun as hell. Like, you can have rocket troopers and stuff like that. It's just great, and it's like, it's a great military shooter. What was that?
What game did you choose? You said Star Wars Battlefront 2?
Yep.
Because that also was mine.
Nice. And you get to go in like ships, and you get to fly up and go right into the thing. And I'll admit, I did it a couple of times where I got into, like, say, a TIE fighter or something like that, and I'd be flying through space, and I'd be like, I realise now I'm kind of shit at landing, so I'd fly into the enemy's base and just go boom along the ground to take out a load of people at once and blow up some of their vehicles to hurt them. It was pretty fun. I like Battlefront 2. On the Xbox, I went with.
Okay. I have that on the PS2, but I didn't really play it nearly as much on the PS2 because this was like, and I hardly ever had maybe 3 games on my PSP. That was one I played the shit out of. I played that game on the PSP so much that I got like all the like little award things that you know how like if you get like so many things you have like regeneration bonus like permanently throughout the thing. Or I was like god modded because I got like all the freaking.
Is the one on PS2 Star Wars Battlefront 2, or is it one of the PSP exclusive Battlefronts?
No, it's Battlefront 2 is on the PS3, but I played the one. What I'm talking about now is the one I played on the PSP.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah, but like if you get like so many of these like achievements or whatever that you get the regeneration bonus like full time like all the time, and I got like a whole bunch of like billion like, pretty much all the bonuses. So like I just have like 6 or 7 bonuses to start out with. So I was pretty much god modded by that point because I got like every single like thing you could get in there pretty much. So like it was ridiculous. Like I unlocked like everything in there, and I just played the shit out of that. And that was the only time I ever used my PSP really for any length of time.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, it was fun on the PS2 as well. I did have it on PS2 at one point as well, years after I had it on Xbox, or when I got a PS2 again, and stuff like that. So, like I said, Battlefront 2 is pretty cool. But over to best puzzle game of all time. I went with Lemmings on PC. I love Lemmings. So it's like, okay, you stay there, and he just puts his arm out, and he's like, okay, now you build stairs. He's like, it's a building stairs. You're like, oh crap, they're gonna fall off. And it's great trying to get all the lemmings to the end of the fucking map. And it's on PS3 right now, remastered with cartoon graphics and stuff. I own that, which it's still pretty fun. It's fun as hell on that too. But Lemmings is just a blast to play. If you've never played Lemmings, you missed out on one of the classics, I feel. But I went with Lemmings.
I've also played Lemmings, but I went with a different one. I went with was not PlayStation. Professor Layton, The Unwound Future, which is the 3rd one that has come to America, because I know the numbers are different in Japan. So I don't know what the numbers are, but I know they're not the same. Because they have way more games than us and we don't have them.
I will admit, I said Portal then, because I thought you were taking Portal 2.
Oh, no, that's really good too. And for a puzzle game, it's really super awesome. But one of the reasons I really like Unwound Future, because while I really love the story, the puzzles are like really relevant in the story, even though you wouldn't think they would be, because like everybody's always made the joke of, oh, life and death murder case, let's stop and solve a puzzle. No, we don't need to stop the murderer. Let him murder more people as we solve a puzzle. But like, and that was a real humongous problem in the frickin' like 2nd one, because there was like literally a drug like in the air that was killing you, and they would be like, you know what, let's stop and solve a puzzle. No, you have a limited amount of air. You have minutes before you're going to die. You cannot stop and do a puzzle. But
to be fair, isn't that one of the best parts of games like Mass Effect 2? It's like, the galaxy's in danger, buy some fish.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 3, it's like, oh, the world's in danger, and if you got the DLC, fuck it, I'm going and playing some arcade games.
I would say yes, but this one did it like the 2nd one did way too much. But the 3rd one really did it so it was actually like relevant in there, and they did some kind of... pretty much took old-timey puzzles, but just made them, because the 3rd one's a bit more steampunk, because this like 16-year-old kid makes this robot or some shit, and you have to do all these like old-timey puzzles, but they made them like all steampunk or something, or made them relevant to the situation at hand. So you do have like some like riddles or whatever from like that existed in the past, but you also have like a bunch of new current, like, I need to get out of here through this situation, I'm going to use a formula or whatever. And it was really awesome. Like, get to think outside the box. And you felt the kind of heat in the situation as well.
Nice. That does sound pretty cool. So now I believe we're on survival game. And my one, I went with Resident Evil on the PS1. And I will go with a tie because I couldn't decide which one to go with. Resident Evil Director's Cut on PS1, which is the same game, just slightly extended, but the people who bought the Director's Cut, most of the ones I know, bought the first game anyway, so it didn't scare you as much. But the first Resident Evil game, holy crap. At the time, it might be different nowadays if you haven't played that game before, but holy crap, at the time that came out, that scared the shit out of me. That really scared the shit out of me, Pew Pew. Because this was before we had loads of survival horror games and loads of ones using the same stuff. Nowadays, if I see a game with a zombie, and I see a body on the floor, I check it. Back then, you didn't, and sometimes like you'd go into a closet and it'd be like, okay, and you'd pick something up, and you'd step over this body, you'd pick something up, and as you're going out, it just grabbed your leg out of nowhere, and you're like, oh fuck. Or you're walking through like the corridor and these dogs just burst the fuck through the window. It's like, holy fuck. Even nowadays, because I had gone back and I played it again on GameCube, which is the one they're remastering in HD, still scared the shit out of me at times. There's still parts of that still make me go, oh fuck, damn you. So I went with Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil Director's Cut of 1 on PS1. Or Biohazard if you live in Japan.
Okay. Well, for survival, I went for Left 4 Dead 2. Because I thought that was really fun, and I felt like you need to survive. Like, you run out of bullets, you gotta have health packs, you gotta watch for hazards, and you gotta, like, work together. Because you can survive on your own, but not for long. I feel like you need to be with someone if you're gonna long-term, like, survive. Because you only can be so long on yourself. Right? You can't, like, be on yourself forever, because you're just gonna die and no one's gonna help you. So I thought that was a very real aspect of the whole thing. Because if you go by yourself and you solo it, and you're like, no, I got this. No, you're fucking hanging off of a cliff now. What are you gonna do? No one here to help you. You're gonna die now, asshole. That's
Long live the king.
So I thought that was really good. And more a realistic aspect at it. Plus, Ellis has the best stories about how he did stuff and how he survived those things to enter the zombie apocalypse is amazing by itself.
Nice. So, and that takes us to our final award for today of licensed video games. And this is video games based upon TVs, movies, or comics, or books and stuff like that. So, yeah. First up, I went with Ghostbusters, the video game. My favourite version was the Wii, but I've mentioned the PS3 one too because I played that, and it was still very, very, very good. Because as I gave it to both, even though they're two slightly different games. One's cartoony, one's more realistic, but it got the original cast back. It got the vibe of Ghostbusters. It let you kill Stay Puft. It let you catch Slimer and stuff. And the way they did, what they did with the license with Ghostbusters video games, it did let you do all that stuff, but still make it a sequel. It was just brilliant. I've never seen a licensed video game do as much with the license as I did Ghostbusters the video game.
Okay, it's really cool. Mine is Lego Marvel. So I really enjoyed that so much. It was friggin' awesome. I love like all the crazy range of characters and powers, and like the fact there's big figs and like regular ones. And everything. I love that. I keep playing through, and you can like do all like the Deadpool challenges or whatever to get the red bricks and stuff.
Wasn't it the Deadpool missions where you went through and it was all crazy to get some extra characters?
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. I said challenges. Yeah, it's the Deadpool. What'd you say? Would you call it levels or?
And I said levels, yeah, because some of them had red bricks, but I think there was other ways to get some too. But they were mainly for the sillier characters that they just went batshit crazy with.
Like Howard the Duck and like the Vulture or whatever.
Yep. But that's cool. And if you haven't played it yet, if you like the Ghostbusters movies, you should check out the Ghostbusters game on PS3, Pew Pew. It's pretty damn cheap right now.
I'll think about it, because I'm definitely going to do cheap things.
It should be really fucking cheap right now, but I'm not saying you have to go do it, but it was just making conversation. But yeah, and I was your second host for today, Chriz, aka The Mole, as Richter had to go, but next week you will hear Richter's list, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for joining me, Anastasia Lazerbeam, aka The Pew Pew.
Woo!
And these lists are pretty good. These are of all times. And coming up next week, we're going to be doing the worst of all those categories you just heard. Then the week afterwards, we'll be doing awards like best shooter, best crossover, best kids games, a reboot, and more. So, including character. So, you've still got more to look forward to. So, yeah, thank you for joining us, and hopefully you like these. If you heard our categories, feel free to leave your respective favourites below. These are favourites, we're not judging them on merit, it's just personal tastes and personal favourites. So we look forward to hearing you. See ya.